And welcome into another edition of Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP. Tim, so glad to have you along for the ride. How was your Independence Day 250 4th of July holiday?
It was great. It was great. It was great because it reminded me that the whole idea of being able to save is to have the freedom to live our best life. And then that's what it's my message for today is by having a savings, lets us allow ourselves to live our financial freedoms.
Freedom and independence, I
Yes,
guess, is our
sir.
goal financially, right, Tim?
Yes, sir. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah, and of course, celebrating the nation's birthday, but kind of a reminder that ultimately, individually, that is our goal when we're working hard, when we're saving, we're investing, we're doing all of these things that we are supposed to be doing. Tim, I'm sure that you see a lot of habits and behaviors from savers and investors that ultimately help them lead to that lasting sense of financial peace and confidence and freedom and independence.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what that does is it allows them to retire early, travel extensively, maybe owning a vacation home. For others, it's simply not worrying about monthly bills, not relying on their children financially, and having the confidence to that income will continue, even in retirement.
I'm sure there are a number of things that, in order to achieve and accomplish that comfortably and confidently, Tim, we need to address.
Yeah, I mean the things that you need to do it requires having a plan,
Mhm.
and not defaulting to just living paycheck to paycheck. A retirement plan should answer certain things. Those things should be how much income do I need? Where will that income come from? How will the taxes impact my spending? What happens if markets decline? What happens if I live longer than expected?
Financial freedom, Tim, really starts with that protect and grow written retirement blueprint, that income plan that you help people put together, understanding spending and expenses.
Right. And that's by looking at you have to start somewhere. And we're going to we tell people look at your essential expenses, things like housing, utilities, insurance, food, healthcare. And then obviously you're going to be also looking at things like, lifestyle expenses, travel, entertainment, hobbies, even gifting and family experiences. When you know your spending needs, you'll know your actual income target.
Tim, during our working years, the paycheck creates that confidence. A lot changes in retirement. Even when there is ample savings, a good amount invested, do you find people lose confidence when they start to have to rely on investments to create that income that they once worked for?
Well, yeah, they're gonna look at they're getting in their income from a different area. Your retirement income, it might come from Social Security, pensions, investments, annuities, rental income, and maybe even like business interests that they might have. So the closer retirement income resembles a paycheck, the more confidence many retirees will feel.
Is that one of the reasons why we value Social Security so much? I know we've heard a lot of recent articles and reports that Social Security may be even in more danger and jeopardy sooner than we thought. But retirees really value the consistency. And to your point, Tim, it helps us create that confidence in the freedom and independence that we'll have.
Yes, I mean that they're looking for that, because it's supposed to be 40% of your income, but unfortunately many people rely on it even more than that. It's lifetime income, they have inflation adjustments, and of course there's survivor benefits too.
Well, Tim, it does not cover everything that
No.
most people spend on. So, what else must be covered, or how would we structure to cover the rest that isn't covered by Social Security?
Well, it's by having a plan is where we'll start, but you need to look at managing the different risks that you have out there: market risk, inflation risk, longevity risk, healthcare risk, tax risk, legislative risk. And I think a lot of plans don't take that into it. It's not just stocks and bonds anymore. And so risk management is freedom preservation. The goal is resilience, and planning addresses uncertainty.
Tim, you mentioned what I think is one of our largest expenses that unfortunately goes unnoticed or unplanned for along the way in building toward retirement, which is taxes. I mean, we talk about our nation's freedom and independence. I think all of that may have started, or at least a large part of it, was over taxes, but we still have to pay them today. How do we plan accordingly to know that we are managing those taxes and keeping them in control?
Well, I mean, you're going to want to, tax planning is retirement planning. Lower taxes is going to improve your cash flow. Flexibility creates opportunity for people when they're in retirement, and that's why you want to make sure that you're protecting your money from the taxes. I mean, no one, regardless of political affiliation, wants to pay more than their fair share of taxes.
Tim, are you still seeing that the majority of people have the majority of their retirement assets in these tax deferred accounts?
Oh my, yes. I mean, everyone has put their money into 401ks almost their whole entire lives. You see some people now have some Roth, but not a ton of it.
So, Tim, you've got that website, and you've mentioned many times on this program that most people can tell you within a pretty close proximity how much they have in those types of accounts, but very few can tell you how much the government intends to collect from them for taxes. That website that you have, mvpcfp.com, that's designed for that reason to help educate people on what the government may or could potentially not collect in taxes.
Right. To your point, that website can kind of hone down on the fact that you have a nice, concise report that if you don't do anything and you default to what the IRS has planned for your money, is what you're going to pay and your family therein in taxes. And so this kind of gives you a blueprint as to what you could do to get after it and change those numbers to the benefit of you and your family.
And again, that website, ladies and gentlemen, mvpcfp.com. MVP, like most valuable planner, and CFP, like certified financial planner.com. mvpcfp.com. Tim, you did also mention risks. There's a number of them, talked about taxes, but market risk, I think, is the one first and foremost in people's mind when we talk about financial risk. The risk that the market might wipe away a quarter or a fifth of the life savings that we've been able to build and amass.
Right. So that's why we have things like a bucket strategy where we're going to have cash reserves to outlast a downturn in the market. You have intermediate assets, and then you're going to have long-term growth assets that can, let the money be at risk for some time in the market, and that's okay because we have the immediate bills taken care of.
I know we were talking about market risk, Tim, but you almost said long-term care, which is another
Yes,
big
Freudian
risk.
slip.
Yeah, we were heading in that direction, I think. So, what do planners and savers need to know or understand about long-term care in order to have that lasting sense of financial confidence and freedom?
Well, it needs to be addressed. Healthcare is a retirement expense, and along with that comes long-term care, and it requires planning as well. 7 out of 10 Americans over the age of 60 are going to probably need long-term care. So we always address that with our clients in the Protect and Grow plan. 9 out of 10 Americans haven't addressed it whatsoever. So these are things that we make sure we talk to our clients about.
Tim, if we were drafting our financial independence document, what do you think would be some of the tenets that we need to follow through with in order to achieve and maintain that lasting sense of financial freedom and independence?
Well, making sure that you're living well, that you're, leaving well. As far as legacy planning isn't about death, you can talk about this stuff beforehand with your family, and then the rest of it is about extending your values into future generations. Legacy is purposeful wealth. Planning creates those options, and wealth can continue serving family and your community.
Tim, and finally, ultimately, we want to leave an impactful legacy for our loved ones. What would that look like to instill a sense for them, for our loved ones, for that financial freedom, confidence, and independence?
Well, then you're going to want to spend intentionally, save consistently, invest wisely, Manage taxes proactively, protect against risk, create dependable income, plan before problems arise, and of course, review and adapt over time. Make sure your plan is dynamic because financial freedom isn't achieved in a single decision.
Well, freedom is one of our greatest gifts and valuable goals in life. And your finances are part of that, ladies and gentlemen. So, in order to have that sense of lasting financial freedom and independence, you have to have a plan. And that is what the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Blueprint is really all about, to help you understand where you are, the goals that you have, detailing those, and making sure your money is working hard to allow you to achieve and accomplish them. If you'd like to get that put together, pick up the phone and give TJ Stearns Inc. and Tim Stearns CFP a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, always a pleasure having you here on the program. Glad to have you back after the Independence holiday, and always a pleasure. Good to see you, sir.
Thanks, Peter. Hey, Peter.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.